Welcome, everybody. It is time for another episode of Two Pastors and a Guest. I want to welcome you tonight for joining us. I'm your host, Brian Callies with Callies Ministries, and I have my wonderful, awesome co-host with me, Pastor Charles E. Matthews Sr. How you doing, Brother Charles?
Man, bro, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. As I always say, it's a blessing to be in the land of the dying, working our way to the land of the living.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Now, who's that goofy-looking dude behind you there?
Man, that's my best friend.
Yourself.
You better know
it. So Charles is an awesome member of our band. He was actually one of the ones that was playing on that opening thing that you heard coming in, and we were doing a live thing, and somebody had their iPhone up and they were trying to record. So it's not the best recording, but it was really cool, the opportunity we got to play. You know what that was, Charles? I think where we were playing on that one? Juneteenth. Remember Juneteenth?
Oh, yeah.
I think that was us playing at that. So anyway, it was a wonderful, wonderful time. And man, did you get to enjoy some of that beautiful weather out there today, Charles?
Man, I did. Man, the wife went out for a minute, they being her special day, I've been kind of trying to spoil her, and cool her for a minute or something, But, we did get a chance to get out and enjoy it for a minute, and it was out in the yard, I was out there messing around with my garden, my tomatoes and watermelons and stuff. And so, I kind of got a little opportunity to do a little something.
Good deal. Now, I had to stay in most of the day doing some work stuff. So, but no complaints. I've got a good picture behind me. I can pretend like I'm back outside again.
Right. See?
But so welcome again to Two Pastors and a Guest. This is your first time here. Our concept, our mission, our goal is keeping it real. That's our motto, keeping it real. So we're just going to have a conversation, and the whole point is have that conversation that usually happens after group conversations, those one-on-ones, and somebody's really trying to bare their soul. That's kind of what we're doing here. So Two Pastors and a Guest, and we have an amazing guest with us today. She's technically related to me, and I'll tell you why that is in just a minute. But Charles, do you want to introduce her?
Man, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Baby. Yes. Listen, everybody, look, thank y'all again for joining us on Two Pastors and a Guest, keeping it real. I'd like to introduce to everybody, my niece, my baby. That's my heart. She's an awesome woman. She's an awesome woman of God. She's an awesome, nurse. She's an awesome mother. I can go on and on. So I just like to tell everybody, that, to just welcome my niece, Miss Mona Martin.
Thank you.
Hey, niece, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you all for having me.
All right. Thank you for being here.
So if you guys haven't guessed it yet, so I said she was related to me. So this is the way it works. So Charles is my brother. That's his niece.
That's right.
And she's my what? Second niece, step niece, something.
Look.
There's got to be something in there.
She your niece, and we always say, because for everybody don't know, look, Brian, that's my brother from another mother with the same father.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Yes.
Amen. Well, great to meet you for the first time, Mona, even though we're family. And so just a little bit about Mona so everybody knows. So currently she is an RN, University Hospital in Kansas City, Kansas. And but she was previously a nurse for 17 years at Methodist in the ICU. So when you're something like 17 years in the ICU, when I say you've seen something. Is
I've seen some things.
And so she's going to be here talking to us today about keeping it real about this topic. And here's our topic. Why weren't we prepared? We should have been. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. So why weren't we prepared for all this? Is that kind of what we were speaking about for a little bit before the show? So can you tell us real quick? So before the show, you gave me a really cool kind of summary of what is in your heart and what your passion is on that. Would you mind kind of repeating that again for us?
So one thing was I didn't quite understand why we as a nation, we as a hospital, we as a society was not prepared for this pandemic. It is not like that we never had such an issue before. I mean, years back, we have had bubonic plague and all those things. So I don't understand that why we didn't have something in place for us to be prepared for this. People were dying. People didn't know the symptoms. We just was not prepared. And I said, you know, every day I come to work is something different. So you have to have a plan, especially if you're in an organization. You have to have a plan for emergencies. So we didn't have nothing. Nothing was in place. People were wearing masks. Were these masks able to fight off the COVID? We don't know. We still don't know. We still don't know if those masks that we wear, those masks, that homemade masks that people wear as well. Because one thing for sure, if it's airborne, nothing that we are wearing is going to protect us.
That's right.
Because those masks and those masks with the homemade masks, those are only for droplets. Droplets means that if someone coughs or anything, it's going to fall within 6 feet of you. That's why they get the social distance, stay 6 feet apart.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because those droplets are going to fall. But so that's why they want you to be far enough. So if those droplets, if someone coughs, those droplets are going to fall. They're not going to stay up in the air because droplets are heavy. So that's why you get the 6 feet social distance.
Is that what they mean when they say it's airborne? That's not what they mean then. It's not meaning just droplets. It's something else too.
If they saying that it's airborne, if it was airborne, that's why you need the N95 masks. So those are the masks that we wear when patients have TB and different things like that, because it's like filters. Because if the COVID-19 was airborne, we all going to be affected.
Because we don't live in an N95 mask. I see. And if it's airborne, that's beyond the 6 foot limitation.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that's what I was wondering. So I had somebody was saying, okay, why don't they like nursing homes, for example? All right, we're going to pack them all into nursing homes. And I was thinking, well, if it is airborne, which is what I heard, I don't know if it's true, but if it is airborne, you know, that air circulation system is just exchanging it in every single room, right?
Correct.
It's not like a hospital where you guys have like real filters that protect.
Which we have negative pressure rooms. So, and we don't, and every room is not negative pressure. So in the hospital, no, sir. Every room in the hospital is not negative pressure.
I see.
So we only have certain rooms that are negative pressure. So what they try to do is to build a unit. So they'll try to place all the patients that are COVID-19 to build it where they can make a negative pressure area, so that when the nurses come in, we are head to toe in garment. We have a filter mask on, we have a bonnet on, we in a bunny suit and everything as we are working with those patients.
Okay. So at the beginning of all this, then, what you're saying and suggesting is that we should have been much more prepared for something. Maybe it wasn't COVID, but something was going to happen.
Absolutely. Something should have been in place, because it shouldn't be that every day the rules change.
Yeah.
Every day the rules change. First, okay, you don't have to wear your mask. Then 2 weeks later, oh, you need to wear your mask. No, you need strict rules that everyone has to abide by. And those things should have been in place. School system.
Don't you guys have policies that
we do have policies
that say that when the pandemic hits, this is the policy that we've thought about and come up with?
And we do have policies, not like this, but we do have policies that if, okay, we have mass casualties, just say that, mass casualties. You know that if you're going to get a certain amount of people that's going to be coming to the ER, so you need all hands on deck. So they do have those things, but they never had nothing for this.
Wow. And I only say wow because I mean they say COVID and it's a big thing, but we've had more than one pandemic in our past.
Correct.
And it wasn't like we weren't anticipating that something could happen because there's enough movies based on that what could happen.
Exactly.
I really
Exactly.
thought we had a better plan of attack, or at least a group of brainiacs, you know, like I don't know, some guys in a room who have been thinking through this, and if this ever did happen, they kind of have some ideas of where to go. And it
No.
didn't look like that worked.
And I don't think that we had that, but I believe now we're gonna have that. You know, it's like everything after the fact instead of before the fact. You know, because anything can happen, and we wasn't prepared. You know, it's like when Moses went to Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go."
Right.
He didn't believe that God would send those plagues, but he did.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't until the last one he said, "Okay, go ahead and take them." So what was it going to take for us? Thousands and thousands of people to die, which is happening.
Yeah.
Which is happening, you know, for us to say, look, we need to have something in place for this.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning of this, then, you guys weren't at the initial, I just assumed you were being in a hospital. You weren't given masks and like given a protocol and none of that.
No, it was like a day by day thing. What we should do, you know, should we take people's temperatures when they first come in, or should we just let them go where they need to go and then take their temperatures? So now that's what they're doing. Everyone is screened now, but how long this been going on? So we had gotten to this point, you know. So for the people that's on the front line, and going through all these multiple different changes, we could have been affected, you know, with it because we didn't know who was coming in to us.
But you've seen some positive change, right? People now trying to be proactive, a little trying to be
correct.
We're still reacting, but we're at least thinking about the future, about the next step, right?
Correct. So what I'm hoping that it kind of continues because soon we'll be in the flu season. And so they think that it may be another rise once the flu season comes.
Another rise of COVID thing? Another rise of COVID?
Yes.
In the summer, with the flu thing happening, are they related? Like
no. Flu season is in August, starting August, September.
Oh, I see.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. So in that term, they think it's going to be a rise in the COVID.
A little surge.
So,
I see.
Yes.
What causes that? Do you know why?
Well, it's a virus, like anything. It's a virus, and some people are more susceptible to it because they have more comorbidities than other people.
No, I mean, like, why is there a flu season? What makes it a season? Is it?
I think because of whether or not the virus can live.
Oh.
So yes, so like they say, the COVID virus don't like the heat.
Yeah. So
it kind of dies off in the heat.
I see. So summertime is going to be good because it's going to be killing it, and then we think there's going to be surge back when that heat leaves, and so everybody needs to move to like Florida or one of the coastal cities.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. But man, you are so good to talk to. This is awesome. I could actually talk some real questions. So hey, audience, just so you know, if you guys have some awesome questions for this is obviously an awesome guest, make sure you like the page and put your comments down there, and I will try to get you on the show and your questions on the show and see if we can't get them directed. So this isn't a slam, although it kind of is in a way. Why weren't we ready for this?
You know what? I really, truly don't know. I just think that we had got so comfortable within ourselves as a country that because nothing has happened in such a long time, that we got so comfortable and reserved that we just didn't think about it. Just didn't think about it. You know, sometimes we get so comfortable within ourselves that, you know, nothing can happen to us.
Mm-hmm.
So we, you know, it's in the, Charles and I have been talking the last few days, last few episodes about how church has changed so much, and didn't have a choice. You know, we had to adapt because all of a sudden no one's allowed to be in church.
Right.
So
Right.
no one's allowed to be in the church building.
Right.
And, but I think, it's kind of the same way, you know, church as a whole, I think we've gotten comfortable, relaxed. There was no need to think about, you know, what if and what could be, or making plans towards anything. And a lot of us had to scramble. And I think companies, I'm a small business guy. So almost all my small business guys were pretty much in the same boat. We never thought, you know, let's plan 6 months worth of savings.
Right.
What if an epidemic, or who knows? When you just get so comfortable and so relaxed where you are, you're not thinking of the future. You're not thinking about what could happen. And probably, you know, I think this has been a big wake up call for small businesses, and it's been a big wake up call for the church. We've had to wake up, and hopefully now it's been a big wake up call then to the medical staff and the hospitals and the people who plan for all this kind of stuff, you know, which I don't know who plans for this kind of stuff.
Well, you have FEMA. They are your disaster plans.
Office of Emergency Preparedness. Now,
yes,
I'm not exactly sure what they do in that.
Yes, but they are the ones, in my opinion, should have had. This is the one who's supposed to be thinking outside the box. They are the ones should be thinking of the what ifs. What if this happened? What we're going to do? You know, so that way better prepare the smaller people to know what to do.
Because honestly, what I see from my point of view is I don't see, not that I'm trying to say it's a responsibility of the government, but I see that churches have really stepped up in this time, and people who care, and they started giving out boxes of food and free masks and all this kind of stuff. What I see in Memphis, Shelby County, and our area in Tennessee, that's what I see. And it's a dang good thing that the churches have stepped up and people who cared enough stepped up, because if they wouldn't have, I don't see there was a whole lot in place.
No, there isn't. And even, and thank you for that, because even down here, a lot of churches, they had like drive-bys where they were giving boxes of food to people that's in need, you know, and thank you for doing that, because what would they have done? What would they have done?
Yep. Shout out Charlie Caswell, Ricky Floyd, man. You guys, Charlie Caswell, Ricky Floyd, you guys have been rocking in this world.
Oh, yeah. Stacy Spencer.
Yep.
Pastor Stacy Spencer, yeah. And I got a question too, you know, for your niece. Now, did you all know about this? You know, like sometimes, you know, being in the hospital, did y'all know about this cohort situation before we did, about the same time as everybody in America pretty much did?
Good question.
We no, we did not know about it beforehand.
Okay.
However,
now we're getting real.
However, I had a couple of coworkers that had got sick, like in December, and they had got the flu test, they had got the strep test and everything, but they could not shake whatever was going on with them.
Right.
And they were out of work for like 2 or 3 weeks. So I believe that before it became known, that it was already here. You see what I'm saying? Because people were getting sick and they couldn't find out why they were sick.
Right. And the reason why I asked that question, because I remember hearing President Trump mention something about, at a certain point, I think some months, I don't know when exactly when it was, whether it was January, whenever it was, or was it December, November last year, whenever it was. But anyway, saying that as they were saying, you know, that it came in from China, as he was saying, you know. So they were saying that they already knew about the virus, but they didn't tell them until some months later. And then they didn't tell us until some months later. So when you were saying about, you know, the fact of, you know, knowing and being prepared, you know, and FEMA, in your opinion, should have been the one that's thinking outside the box. And I agree with you on that. But also the fact of the matter is that if the president knew, and then that means FEMA had to know. So, but the fact of the matter is that who gives that call to go ahead on to say, well, we're gonna wait and play Russian roulette with all these people's lives before we tell them anything about this, you know, because I think that would have happened, then it would have gave a little more extra time for the hospitals to kind of have some kind of began to put some kind of plan in place better for the for you guys, you know, as the medical field workers, nurses and doctors and all that stuff, you know, and as well as gave, you know, even us as, you know, the American people time to kind of, you know, hopefully the ones of us that got some sense about it, you know, to try to, do some things that we need to do. But what it done, it put everybody in a situation, in a bind, in a circumstance where at one point, man, everybody was going so wild, man. And even to this point now, you got a little bit more in the store when you go now, but ain't too much. Man, everything was going off the shelf at one point in the store. Everything. They took the dust off the shelf.
Yes.
Left.
Yes.
You know? So like I say, with that being said, you know, that's something to think about, you know, is that, you know, if you knew about it ahead of time, and even I heard, you know, President Trump say on TV, something pertaining that they knew some months ahead of time. They knew, and China knew, and they didn't tell them, you know, to a certain amount of time. And then I guess because maybe, as we just were saying, you know, maybe, I don't know if they didn't take it serious or what the case may have been after China let them know, they didn't tell us until some months later. And stuff like that is, it
a little too much cover up, maybe.
Man, honestly.
I mean, that's, the rest of us, I don't know, everybody has a difference of opinion. I'd rather see the problem in front of me rather than be covered up and then it slap me in the face. You know, right. I'd rather see it coming and know, but I understand why they say, well, you can't tell the public everything because they'll panic and they'll, you know, start, I don't know, shooting people or something. I don't know. But I kind of want to know these things. I'd rather know the truth.
Yeah.
Right. Not only that, watch this. And I heard you say, brother, that, they say they can't tell the public everything because they'll go to panicking. But also, watch this. Either way it go, somewhere they had to tell us.
Yeah.
So what was the difference? Yeah. What happened was going to happen from the beginning with them, the way they reacted. And watch this, they did go to panicking because guess what? They went to buying up all the food and all the tissue and everything else, you know. They went to taking everything. So all I'm saying is that, but y'all, they still played Russian roulette. And matter of fact, not only necessarily Russian roulette, but actually they have caused a lot of lives that probably could have possibly been spared and saved, you know, to perish, and they're going on because they didn't say nothing about it at first and enough time for people to at least kind of try to get some kind of edge on it, you know?
And I agree with that. I believe that he did know, the government did know, and by him knowing that, if he would have told, or not even told us as of yet, mm-hmm. but if he would have told the key players what they was going to need, so like those people who needed to make more ventilators,
right?
You know, if he would have told them we need to do a mass production of something just to prepare for whatever to come. Didn't have to tell us right then and there, but to prepare us. So then now you got to say, if somebody colds, if they got COVID-19, we're not going to try to save their life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have the equipment.
Right.
So if he would have told those, and even with the toilet paper and the paper towel, and tell them to make more, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Prepare them for what's to come, and then tell us.
Yeah.
Instead of just keeping us into the dark until people were flooding flooding the hospital.
That's right.
With
Yeah.
this illness, and we like, what's going on? You know?
Right. And what you saying that, niece, Brian, what I'm saying that, it kind of reminds me of, see, we from up north, Brian, you are too, because you was Oklahoma. But anyway, we up north, we got a lot
in Oklahoma. No, I was in Chicago for a little bit, so I can.
right. So I'm saying, so watch it. See, watch this. We got a lot of snow and ice and stuff, right? Yeah. And watch this. It's funny that because when they heard about it, they let us know, and they prepared themselves. They prepared themselves with the snow trucks, the salt trucks, and all that stuff. But yet, something that's simple and small, not trying to be funny, but that's simple and small, they prepared for. But yet, and they wanted us to know about it. But yet, something this serious that's taking lives, you couldn't tell us or tell the people that need to know so that they can prepare for it. Something wrong with that picture.
Well, let me ask this, because you know this better than I do. So, we all talked about masks and, we all got to get masks and all this kind of stuff. And so, I don't know. I mean, I've got N95 masks and I use them because that's a responsible thing, right? But most of the masks I see out there are just, to me, pointless. I would think they're pointless. So when you got up, I don't have any with me, but when you have just this little thing in front of your, it's not even covering your nose. It's just right there, with a little string hanging off. Is that even worth doing?
Well, like I said, if it's airborne, it's not going to matter. And even with your N95, and I'm gonna tell you, Pastor Brian, your N95 mask is useless on you.
Tell me why.
Let me tell you why. First of all, you have to be fitted for those masks.
Wow.
No way.
Yes. So you have to be fitted for those masks. And then secondly, you have too much facial hair.
Wow.
Those masks have to have a good seal, because you don't want nothing to be able to get inside of that. And I'm going to say your N95 mask does not work on.
I'll be done. Okay. Well, now I said we were going to be real.
Hey.
So, you just hit it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, so then is the alternative not wear anything?
Well, like if it's droplet, I would say the regular mask works, because that's what we use.
Because that'll stop the people.
Yes, those will stop those. Exactly. If it's airborne, it's not going to work.
And we don't know that yet.
And we don't know that.
How do we not know that?
Those scientists who is in those labs.
I mean, seriously, how do we
try to figure it out?
Know this?
Right. And if they don't know, man, how can we know?
I mean, that's just like how someone could have COVID-19 and don't have any symptoms, but can spread it.
Wow.
Well, let's talk about that in a minute. So that you just said that because you're assuming that somebody took a test and then they say, "Oh, you're positive," and he's like, "I'm not sick." Yeah, you are. You're positive, right?
Right.
So do you see that the test is it accurate? Does it work?
Yes, the test is accurate.
Okay.
The test is accurate.
I've heard some people griping about that. So I didn't know.
Especially, the test is accurate. The technique might be wrong.
Okay. All
right.
Explain.
Because if they do not have the correct technique when they are getting their sample, that could be the wrong. Yes.
Yeah, because I hear you have to put it I haven't done it yet, but I hear you have to put it way back.
Way back.
Not something.
They say it's supposed to feel like a brain biopsy.
Oh.
Woo.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Me neither.
So that kind of
wait. You're a nurse. How have you not done? Don't they do this every day? Don't they check you every day? Or?
No, sir.
Wow.
I have not been checked for the COVID-19.
And that's a standard practice.
If I don't have any symptoms, they are not going to check me.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
And with saying that, Brian, about putting it all the way back, it kind of reminds me of when I had when I got checked, because I had I told you I had thyroid cancer, and when they went to find out, they got this, they take this long scope with a light on it, and go up my nose and go down and look in my throat. You talking about a terrible feeling, man. I told the doctor, if he ever do that again to me, we fighting.
No. And
It
then
hurt it so bad. And he's like, Mr. Smith, I said, if you ever don't tell me what you're doing, because I thought you was going to take the light and look up my nose. You went down my nose like that and went looking all in my throat and hurted me like that. Man, I'm going to do something to you. I did. I had to apologize to him, but it hurted that bad to the point where I can't even describe the feeling.
Yeah.
Never even found your brains at all, did he?
Never found my brains at all. And he figured it. He said the reason why is because you didn't have one.
Ah, look at you. That's my brother right there. We always get to pick on each other. No, seriously, he's one of the smartest men I know. So the swabs that you get done, if you're not doing them right, obviously they're going to show a negative and might be positive or whatever. But you, people that don't feel like they have any symptoms and that kind of stuff, if you get tested and they say, yeah, you got it, what does that mean? Does that mean you stay home more?
Say it again.
Do you stay home more? Are you now locked in?
You're supposed to quarantine yourself. You don't necessarily have to be in the hospital per se. Only the ones that truly need to be in the hospital are the ones that's having respiratory problems.
Oh, I see.
Because those are the ones that are the sickest. Like my sister she worked in the nursing home and she got COVID-19.
Wow.
Now, what is the deal?
But she didn't have any other respiratory symptoms. She had all GI.
Wow. What's the deal with the nursing homes? Why is it so popular or common in nursing homes?
Because of how they are all together. You know, they are everyone goes into one room. They get them up in the morning. Everybody goes to one room. They stay in that room all day. So everyone is just together. So there's no social distance.
And somebody must have had it, came in, and then infected the nest, the hive.
Yes. And they wasn't wearing masks. At the time, they weren't wearing masks.
Maybe we should have, when the pandemic was coming, we should have said, okay, unless you're somebody that works at the nursing home, you can't come in.
Correct.
Okay, that would have been a good idea. So let's talk about that from the hospital point of view, because I have some friends who got sick, and it wasn't from the virus, but man, they were serious as a heart attack. Like your wife's going in the hospital, and if you leave, you ain't coming back in to see her. And they were serious about this.
Well, you know what? They were lucky. In my hospital, your wife going to the hospital, Pastor, you're not coming to see her.
Really?
Yes.
My wife.
Your wife. We were not allowing any visitors to come into the hospital unless it's a pediatric patient, someone was actively dying.
Okay.
And if one person if someone's having a baby, that is it.
Wow. And Brian, what I'm saying that you remember we talked with Pastor Dirk, a few nights ago, and remember he was mentioning about the fact that his mom had got sick, and they had to call him. And remember, they said that they told him that he wasn't even sense of him trying to leave with them to go to the hospital because ain't no way they wouldn't let him in under no circumstances. Yeah. And that he with his mama. You remember he told us that the other night.
Yeah.
So, and I guess it also, Brian, ain't it something that when you stop and think about it, as my niece just said, Ramona just said, watch this. Your N95 mask really is not doing a lot of good for you because of a couple of things she pointed out. First of all, you got to be fitted for it. A lot of folks don't know. They think they can just go buy them because they selling them. People selling them. They're sitting on the street selling them to folks. But they don't. But people got to be fitted for it for one thing, because I guess it got, like you said, got to be adjusted to the point where it fits your face snug enough, to where there's nothing going in, past that. Everything is being filtered through, I guess, the filter part. But Watson also, like she said, because of the hair on your face, ain't that something that these things we don't know? And wow, that's something.
I wouldn't have thought about it.
Yeah. But
thanks for sharing that with us. That was a good insight. So where are we at right now in this whole thing? Do you see that we've learned enough that we're starting to come out of the woods of this whole COVID thing? Like being prepared is what we had a problem with. We weren't ready for this. and didn't have enough ventilators, and we didn't have enough masks, and we didn't have enough gloves. For some reason, toilet paper. I mean, I don't quite understand, because there's a lot of other necessities in life.
Yes.
But
yes.
somehow someone's buying sheds and fill them full of toilet paper. I don't know why, but and so we're still having a problem with that, because I don't care what anybody says. Melinda and I went out to go get toilet paper, and we went to Target. We went to about 5 different stores, and you were fortunate if you could find the 1-ply, Scots that nobody wanted, if you were lucky. But most of the time we couldn't find anything. Still, I just still can't believe we're still fighting over toilet paper.
Right.
It's American now. We just
And you know what, bro? What you saying that? And watch this. What you saying that, bro, Pastor Callies? Watch this. Do you know that? Watch this. And I guess maybe you didn't think about it. I still got that big trash bag of toilet tissue.
Oh no, you don't.
Yes. Wow. You remember that one that you both been coming to get some of?
Yep.
I got 2 bags of it. And remember, you gave me a bag, and then you gave me the bag, and I told you it was full with it. Also, the other bag they gave us. So we've been had toilet paper needs, man, since May last year sometimes.
See, I just don't get why.
I tell you, we got probably about a good, kid you not, in between 150 to 200 rolls of toilet tissue.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I personally use Kleenex and paper towels combined a whole lot more than toilet paper. But
what you saying something about paper towels, but I got a question real quick for my niece. Now, they said that, and this is some of the hospital nurses and some doctors said this. They said that with the homemade masks, you can take a paper towel and put it in and do the same thing as the filter of the N95 mask. What do you say about that, niece?
I'll say no.
Not what you're saying, because it's got to fit your face and seal and all that.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, and especially what you said, and I kind of figured, but they said that it serves the same, purpose as that filter do in the N95 mask. They said paper towel. I'm thinking, really?
How's that filtering? I don't get that.
You do better, come out better with a coffee filter.
Yeah.
Not a coffee filter,
Yeah.
But to get that, that's all I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But I wanted to actually, because when they said, I'm like, really? A paper towel?
So do they let people just keep going along with this just to make them feel good that they're doing something?
I think so.
You've got to, because if what you just said is something that's understood and known, then it's not like other people don't know this. And if everyone knows this, they kind of should be presented like. So guys, don't go out and buy 700 masks, one for every day.
Right.
Because then the medical staff who really need them in places.
Correct.
Right. And it won't help you all that much. I seen one person that was so great. I loved it. So she put on a trash bag over herself.
Yeah.
Over her feet and did all that. And I'm thinking to myself, are you afraid the virus is going to get through your clothes?
Right.
I mean, I don't know what that was going to help, but I think the lack of clear information about what would work and what wouldn't work up front would have helped me to know, do I wear gloves? Do I not? Because we had an episode about the glove thing, and I used to work in a optics lab. So I understand the concept that if I put on gloves and I touch something dirty, my gloves are now dirty.
And they take that same glove and they touch everything in Walmart.
Yeah.
That's why I go in there, I'm like, what is the purpose of the gloves? I'm like,
grab their phone, and then later on take the glove off and grab their phone and put it over their ear. I'm like, well, there you go.
That's what I said. I'm like, oh my goodness. So
we talked before about the hospitals and not just hospitals, but I mean the whole gambit of things weren't prepared and weren't ready for this.
Right.
So where we are now, we've learned some things, I hope, but are we coming out of the woods enough? You think that we are now starting to go on the downward slope, or we're at least you're optimistic?
No.
Okay.
I think that we're gonna have a surge the next month of more COVID
Wow.
because people are still not being wise enough to be more careful.
Okay.
You know, and I get it that you want to go outside, you want to do all this, but you still have to be careful because our slope going down is not down enough. We are still creeping up. And I think it's going to be more, by this time, mid next month, we're going to see a rise. Then you'll see the fall. But I think you're going to see the rise.
So what do we do to be more careful? Like, so it's too pretty outside not to be outside. Is it bad to be outside, or is it?
No, I'm outside.
Okay. So it's just bad. Like if my wife and I go out and we work on the garden, what if we want to take a walk around the block?
I do that. And then when I see other people that's not in my household, I move aside.
And let them go by and keep that 6 foot.
And I keep that distance away. I mean, I speak, but I keep that distance away. But yeah, I'm outside. I'm on a walking trail, my husband and I, you know, but I'm still being careful. I'm not just out there, you know, amongst a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
because I know what goes on in my home, but I don't know what goes on in your home. I don't know what you have, you know.
Yeah. So you got to be wise about it.
Kurt, you have to be wise about it.
Yes.
And I think if we be more wise about it, then we'll see a steeper decline.
Right. Sponsor break.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we do. It is time for our sponsor break for the day. So our sponsor shout out, or not our sponsor, but really this is going to be our charity shout out. So our charity shout out today is going to be for Saving Lost Kids. So let me show you about Saving Lost Kids. Again, this is what Charles and I work at, support, encourage, and are sharing with everybody. And the game of Saving Lost Kids is to prevent, to end missing, exploited, and sex trafficking of children. You know, we were talking a lot about epidemics and things like that, and trying to be proactive. And the game of what Saving Lost Kids is exactly that. We want to be proactive. We want to stop the kids from going missing, from being exploited, and from being sex trafficked. So what you see here is in the picture is that's me right here, of course, and there's Charles. See, right there. And trust me, there's a lot more of us than just us, but this is just a picture to show us. So we're over here explaining to a middle school. This is Craigmont Middle, and we're explaining to some children about how. So that's what we do, one-on-one intervention. And so what these kids are learning right now is how kids really go missing, how really they go sex trafficking. It is typically not what anybody's ever thought of. Running away is one of our biggest problems. And 91%-ish of the kids that went missing last year ran away. And so we're talking to them to get their eyes woke up so that they can actually be proactive and not become a victim. And of course, we have tons of handouts, and this is like one part of one table. I think we come with about 6 tables worth of stuff, doing free child safety IDs and all that. But just want to get you connected to Saving Lost Kids. Great organization. If you are interested in joining us and helping us with events, things like that, being a volunteer, we'd love to have you. There's plenty of opportunity. And also, if you'd like to donate, become a donor. So just like St. Jude lives off of donations, Saving Lost Kids, we literally live off of donations. That's how we do what we can do. And so we want you to come and join us and be a part of that team financially. It doesn't take much. The best way of doing it is to go to the website, savinglostkids.org, savinglostkids.org, or you can text. If you're into texting, text SLK, the initials of Saving Lost Kids, to 41444. So text SLK to 41444, and you can become a monthly supporter of us. You know, give what you can, but even a $5 a month donation makes a huge difference to us. And so thank you so much. And Saving Lost Kids, thank you, Charles, for all you do in Saving Lost Kids, brother. All right, so we're back to the show. You guys are watching Two Pastors and a Guest. I'm your host, Brian Callies with Callies Ministries. Got my awesome co-host with me, Pastor Charles E. Matthews Sr. And our friend Charles's niece, and so that makes her my niece, you know, in the family, in the family of God. Mana Martin, she's an RN, University Hospital, Kansas City, Kansas, and she also was a 17 years nurse in the ICU at Methodist, and she's telling us from the heart, telling us true about why we weren't prepared for this. We're talking about the COVID, or it's not just the COVID virus, but all the aftermath that happened afterwards, why we weren't prepared for it, we should have been, and kind of where we are now and what we're looking forward to next. So again, if you have any questions, make sure you like the page and put your comments down here. Oh, and quick shout out to Kay. I won't use your last name just because you haven't given me permission to, but Kay is an awesome follower of the show, and she gave us some really great comments. But one of the things I wanted to say is she said, Mana, you should be talking to our leaders. I don't think they understand what we're dealing with. We're too focused on what we want, not on what we need. So thank you, Kay, for that. You're totally on the money. I totally agree. So now that we've talked about, as we're coming back out of it just before the break, you were talking about how are we on the edge of coming out of this thing, and you said you're expecting there to be a little more surge before we come out of this. And so
yeah, because I think one of the things is because when people start coming out and getting around more, those people who are sick are going to get people sick. I went into the store with my mother the other day. We had on our mask, but hardly anybody had on a mask.
Yeah, that's
so
what we're seeing.
We're not using the precaution. If we would still use the precaution until we out of the woods, then I could see us going declining, but I think we're going to have an increase before we have a decrease.
Right. So to a degree, then, niece Mona, so to a degree, the masks are they're wise decision, but they do kind of possibly help, to prevent the problem of spreading it,
Correct.
spreading. So it is wise to, when you go out, to wear the mask. So, because I want people to know that you're not saying don't wear the mask when you say what you said, but you're saying it is wise to wear the mask. But the true fact of the matter is that because the mask is not really, the technique of it is really haven't been explained properly, some people are still just doing themselves just as much harm for real, than they are anything. And also another question real quick, Brian, if I can ask, look, what about, how they say, you go in the store and they say, wash your hands and keep your hands washed. And but watch this, what about you go in the store and you touch one thing, and then you go and you touch another thing. And I know they say you can do it with gloves on, but I mean, just in case that, the virus is on, let's say you grab a gallon of milk and you decide you didn't want it. So you just put it back, and then you went and you grabbed a loaf of bread and you decided you didn't want it. So you put it back. And I know they were saying that, you should, wash your hands. But I mean, how would you explain that to people about, because it's kind of hard to every time you get through, you grab me. Let's say you go to the store and you look and you getting ready to get, let's just say 15 items. Or should you continue to keep a wipe and wipe your hand after you touch every item? How would you tell people before it's going about that?
So I could just say for me. So when I go in the store, and I get my items. No matter what it is, I get them. I don't have on gloves. But however, when I leave out of that store, I use my hand sanitizer. Okay. And once I go home and put up my grocery, and when I come in the house, I wash my hands. I put up my groceries. I wash my hands again. Okay. So just be careful. So when you go in, you get your items and stuff, touching your face, nothing, your orifices that are open. Right. And if these are dirty, that germs, them orifices that you touch, you just gave them an open area to get into. So just be very careful of what you're doing. Right. That's all.
Right. But what about this, Denise? Watch this. And I hear you what you're saying, and I understand that. But what about, like you say, you go in the store and you get your items, and you sanitize your hands, and you take your items home. But what happens if maybe one or two of some of those items may have somebody that have had the virus to touch them? When you get home, you still got them, and you put them in your refrigerator. So what happens? I mean, how you think?
So one of the things that's one of the doctors, he comes on every morning, Monday through Friday at KU. He's an infection disease doctor, and he addressed that same question that you just asked about your items. So what his advice was that when you got home, that you would take your Sandy wipes and wipe down
those items,
everything that you have before putting it up.
Okay. And I actually, like I said, I know, and I'm pretty sure you do that.
And I have that standing wipe on my kitchen table.
Okay, and I actually couldn't, because I know a lot of people, they don't do that, and they go to the store, and it's like, really, you're really defeating the purpose. You got on a mask. That was just like with the gloves. It didn't make sense to have the gloves on because you cross-contaminated.
Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is that you really kind of doing the same thing, really, when you take them items and you take them home, you just put them on in your refrigerator and your pantry or wherever, and you don't know who to touch them and what's on them, but yet you're taking any other safety precautions to do anything differently. So you might as well you just as in danger as just don't wear a mask, don't sanitize your hands. You might as well just lick your fingers.
Well, I don't know that you have to throw everything out. If everything doesn't work. I agree. I get what you're saying, though. Maybe I need to start rethinking about wiping down my groceries, because I don't. It's just pure laziness. There's not a chance that I've ever done that. But it's not such a bad idea. I get it. Yeah. So
and I know some stuff, you
let's
can't.
Talk about
go ahead.
So now that we're kind of coming out of this, you had said something, because we've only got a couple minutes left. And one of the things you said when you and I were talking was we forgot who was really in control.
Yes.
And who we're supposed to lean on. So we've only got a couple more minutes left, but I wanted you to be able to expound on that just a little bit. Yes. I know that was something you said to me. So
I did. And I really feel that, because everyone is so in an uproar about COVID-19.
Yeah.
About what's going on in the world. But we have to realize that if he didn't want it to be,
right,
it wouldn't have been.
If who?
The Father.
So if God wanted that to be, it wouldn't have been.
It wouldn't have been.
So you're saying that God made this happen?
I say he's in control.
Oh, okay.
He's in control. So he's in control. So whatever my destiny is, I have no control of that. He has planned that from my day when I was in my mother's womb.
Okay.
He has already set that forth for me. So if I was supposed to die of the COVID-19, there's nothing that I can do but have made my peace. So, but we forgot that he's controlling everything.
Yeah.
But until we turn away, we're going to continue to have these things happen.
So what you're saying is he didn't cause it, but he's allowing it to happen.
Oh, yes.
There you go. That's it.
Oh, yes. Just like he allowed the devil to do the things to Job.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true. He didn't cause the devil to do it, but he did allow the devil to do that.
Right.
That's right.
And the great part about that is what y'all saying there, Brian, is that even with that, he took care of Job.
Yes, he did.
He told the devil, he said, you can touch his body, but you can't have his soul. And even with that, he kept Job through the whole thing. Although Job went through some things in that time, the Bible said Job wasn't even quite in his right mind, but yet the Bible said, Job held fast to God because he knew God was going to take care of him. So think about it. I said that to say this, just like with us. He's going to take care of us long as we trust and depend and lean on him. No matter what's going on with this COVID-19, guess what? We got to continue to stay in the center of his will so that we can keep on giving him, having an opportunity for him to keep us in this perfect will and this perfect peace.
Absolutely.
So the optimism that we have isn't so much in just that the government's going to get this thing figured out, even though they should get better than what they're at now. From a hospital point of view, from a toilet paper point of view, from a school point of view, from the whole game. We need to be more prepared because this isn't the first time we've had this, and it'll happen again. Yeah, we're most likely going to happen again. So let's learn from it and be smarter the second time around. Okay, we're all encouraging that, but the real thing that I hear you're saying you're encouraged by is that God's got a plan. He's got it figured out. This did not surprise him. He allowed this to happen. But if you take this time and this advantage, he'll get you to a better place by using this negative. So as a pastor, as Charles and I always look at, I'll tell you about one guy real quickly, Paul. Paul is in the Bible, and if you guys want to look this up a little bit. But Paul had what the Bible says, a thorn in his side, right? He had a problem. He had an issue. And he went to Jesus and said, hey, take this thorn in my side. I don't like it. It hurts. It's a bother, whatever he might have said. And Jesus basically said, the Holy Spirit said, no, I'm not going to take it from you. I'm going to leave it with you. But I'm going to give you enough grace that you'll be able to deal with it, right? So there's there we go. I see that on your wall. Just enough grace for today. I didn't even see that, right? That was subliminally. That's brilliant. So he gave him enough grace to deal with that problem, because dealing with problems sometimes, like right now, if you have the COVID, if you don't, if somebody you know of does, and now you're having to stay home and all this struggle, sometimes is what God will use to get you to another place. Because then you'll have to depend on him. You have to trust in him a little bit. And maybe that's what he's going to do to help you to get another step closer to the truth and understand.
And that comes with the understanding of things, Brian, and Pastor Callies and Mona. Look, because we all know that because when we understand things, we understand God, the things of God for real, and the truth is that he that's when we know that he continue to take care of us. It kind of give us what Romans 8:28 says, and for we know that all things work together for the good of them that love him, who are the called according to his purpose. That's the purpose for this.
So we couldn't do this show without bringing in the master and the grand architect and the one who's got a hope for you tomorrow. So we're going to hope that the government learns something, the hospitals learn something, we all individually learn something. But our real hope is in what God's got prepared and planned in his path. So for us, his plan for us. So thank you so much. You guys have been watching Two Pastors a Guest, Brian Callies of Brian Callies Ministries, my awesome co-host, Pastor Charles E. Matthews Sr., and our wonderful friend and family member, our Mona Martin from University Hospital, Kansas City. And where are you calling from right now? Kansas City? Kansas City, Kansas.
Kansas City, Kansas.
Now, I was stuck. I told you I'd tell you this, and it's not a whole story. I'm just going to tell you. I got stuck in the 82 blizzard in Kansas, and I spent Christmas and the next day after Christmas in a van in the middle of nowhere, stuck in the blizzard. So that was my introduction to Kansas. But it was still one of my best Christmases ever. Got to hang with the fam. Got to open presents in the van. Gotta love that one. That was great. Well, bless you all and thank you. And we're looking forward to tomorrow night, right here on our show at 7 o'clock. We have, who do we got here, Charles, tomorrow night? Apostle Ricky Floyd. Man, you guys want to hear somebody being honest? He doesn't pull any punches, and you can see right up his sleeves. So Apostle Ricky Floyd's going to be talking to us tomorrow. So y'all check us out right here at Two Pastors and a Guest, 7 o'clock. Make sure you like your page, share it with a friend, let them come out and have a good time with us. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Amen.
All right.
close to lean on your love. Trust that in your way you guide us through each day. But it's easy said than done. The heart of mine won't work as one.